This is another video that comes with a trigger warning because in this video, in our series on spiritual awakening, I'm going to talk about the dangers of the New Age or the occult. Now, I have always, when someone put me in that box of being a New Ager, I always had this reaction of I'm not a New Ager. What I bring through is ancient wisdom. This has nothing to do with the New Age occult, the things that I teach. And so one of the things that you're really going to have to develop along this spiritual journey is discernment, because there are so many inversions on this journey. This is hard. Okay. All right. So I know a lot of you are deeply into the ascended masters and, ancient wisdom teachings and manifestation, law of attraction, like all of these different things. And the reason you feel so drawn to them is because there is a percentage of truth within them. But at the end of the day, the only truth is God, source, light. And the further away you get from God, the more chance and opportunity there is for distortion. So with ascended masters, as an example, they're not God. I'm not God. You're not God. There is some separation that we have from God. And so there are windows and openings for inversions and distortions to happen. So if you are making your spiritual guides or ascended masters or tarot cards or, whatever tools you might use, if you're making those things your God, if you're making them your ultimate source of your guidance, the information that you get, if you are placing all of your trust and blindly following something that someone else is saying without checking in with your own inner wisdom and God first, then there is so much opportunity for you to be manipulated, controlled, and misled. And it's a sad truth that, this is the paradigm we live in right now on this planet. There are many opportunities to be misled and controlled and manipulated. And the shadow forces have sneaky ways of working to work even through the church and through pastors' sermons and even certain translations of the Bible or, whatever. It can be very difficult to discern what's truth, what is actually from God and what's not. It can be very difficult to find your way and navigate through all the weeds. And so for me, what I've done over the years is I've really pulled back and refocused and gone straight to God. So when I first moved to Sedona over 10 years ago, for a whole year, I was part of something called the Ascension Circle. And we'd get together every Friday. And I only missed 2 Fridays in the entire year. And we would work with the Ascended Masters and we would pray to the Violet Flame and other sacred flames. And through that experience, I did experience a lot of healing and a lot of growth and releasing of the old. And it was another way to, another tool for me to use in my inner healing. And what I see now as I look back is that, wow, I can just go directly to God for all of that. Pardon my blue mouth. I just used methylene blue. So that's really what I would encourage you to do if you are on an awakening journey with your spirituality, with yourself, is to focus on God. Go to Jesus, go directly to source. And it's not that you can't use all those tools, but be really, really careful about how much you let them lead your life. Be really careful about giving them a pedestal and a platform that's more important than God, because no one and nothing can take the place of God. And I use the word God liberally and generously knowing that it might trigger you, because if you have religious wounds, you might not want to hear the word God, but God is love. So if you have religious wounds, I invite you to heal those, because that in and of itself is keeping you separated from the most beautiful source of love that you could ever experience as a human being. It's a bit of an aside, but still important. So, in summary, what I want to say is choose the tools that you use very carefully. Even meditation can be used incorrectly. A lot of meditation, the idea is to empty your mind. Well, what happens when you empty your mind? Then it can be filled. Well, what are you going to fill it with? Because your mind is going to keep working. You know, you're human. That's just what happens. So you can empty your mind all you want, but it's going to be filled by something. So if you're going to meditate with the intention of emptying your mind, what are you going to fill it with when you're done? So even something as seemingly benign as that can be an opportunity for demonic forces to come in. And again, not being dramatic, I've seen this happen. So whether it's meditation or yoga or the ascended masters or, you know, any of these crystals, any of these tools that are available to us, you want to be really discerning about what is actually working with that tool. Is this tool from God? And only you can know that answer. For some people, yoga is not going to be great. For other people, it's going to be wonderful. And I know a lot of Christians speak against yoga, and I'm not one of them. But I'm using that as an example of, yeah, it can be something that brings in some dark stuff. And, you know, I'll use another example. I work with something called the microcosmic orbit, which is part of your central channel that moves up your spine and down the front of you. And it's part of your Kundalini energy channel. And I work with that to cultivate my essence and my soul light and those things, and to have God move through my body. I use it in that way. And some people would say, oh, that's the devil. You shouldn't be doing that. But I know who and what I'm connected to, and I know the energies that I allow to come through me. And so I'm confident that that's a good tool for me. It's actually saved my life. So I know that that's okay. But I know people who have used that tool and demons are freaking running through their microcosmic orbit. So it's the polarity thing, right? Like anything that can be used for good could also be used for the shadow. And so if you're using a particular tool, you just want to make sure that God is there and God is directing it. And that's my point. So talk to the Ascended Masters if you want, but, you know, go straight to God. Why not? It's easier. All right. Much love, you guys. If this video generated questions for you, please do ask. And if it was helpful for you, please go to creationtemple.com/donate and leave a little something from your heart.